Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. We got some boxes from Panini. 24-25 Panini Prizm NBA hobby box, 12 packs of 12 cards each, released mid-February, 6/25, and not a great rookie crop to this point. We don't know what the future holds, but with Matas Buzelis and Reed Shepard on the box, just not a great rookie crop. Then also got 2024 Panini Spectra football, 4 packs of 4 cards each with 4 autographs and 4 memorabilia cards. So that's a more premium product. The street price on that was, I think, a little under $900 a box. So that's pricey for 16 cards, but there were no bad cards in the box, as you can imagine. With the Panini Prizm basketball, you're going to get some base cards, but you're also going to get a bunch of silvers, a bunch of rookies. In fact, the box advertises that you're going to get 2 autographs and 22 prisms. Yes, I got that, plus really a bit more. I actually counted out of the 144 cards in the box, 48 of them were good cards. They were either silver prisms or rookies or colored prisms or inserts. And so I was not displeased with the configuration of the box, probably leaning a little more toward the Spectra because the efficiency, every single card was a good card. In fact, I only got 3 base cards out of the 16 cards in the Spectra on the football. And in fact, out of those 3 base cards, one of them was a rookie anyway, and another was a silver prism. So I only got 1 true base card there. On the other hand, still, if you divide 16 into 800 and something, it comes out to $50 a card. Cards are not $50 each, but some of them are a lot less, and a few of them were again, you don't expect to always get all your money back, except for the time when you get a lot more. So I don't hit it big on this one, but I enjoyed opening nonetheless. The cards are works of art, both of these products. Panini has a long track record. Spectra, I've picked those up in the dollar box. When you got $50 a card, then even some of the base cards can work in the dollar boxes. Not so much the Prism base, unless it's LeBron or Luka or something like that. Okay, I wanted to give you some insights, not just about the products, but about the state of the football and basketball hobby. First, thanks sponsors. First of all, Panini, but also Topps and Upper Deck, Heritage Auctions, Hug of the Scott Auctions, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, ComC.com, and Beckett Media, Beckett Rating, Beckett Authentications. Patrick Mahomes was considered to be in the running for the GOAT, but did not have a great Super Bowl. I think it's just another indication when you're opening these products, there are no sure things. And there probably are not going to be multiple GOATs. They're going to be a very short number, and the operative number probably is 1. And it shows Mahomes has a long way to go. Of course, Brady got to a bunch of Super Bowls, didn't win them all, but he sure got there a lot, and he had a good surrounding cast and a Hall of Fame coach. Not that Mahomes doesn't have that as well, but it's tough to win championships. It's tough to get to the championship game. But it suggests that for both of these products and for the hobby, the emphasis on the biggest superstar and the very best and the best of the best can be a little bit tricky. When I'm looking at cards, I just want good cards at good prices. Move over to basketball, and Luka got traded in the middle of the night, I think. And that's disruptive. Mahomes not performing like a GOAT, Luka being not treated like a future GOAT, and being traded for admittedly a great player who's also 5 years older in Anthony Davis, who promptly gets injured. This is similar to the card hobby. There are no sure things. Stuff happens that are outside your control, whether you're the general manager of a team or just a big fan, or whether you're a collector of your team or the general manager of your collection. Then we find out that Wemby gets a blood clot. And I'm just thinking, since COVID, there's been a greater emphasis on health and wellness, which there should be in our country. But it sure seems like it's given us an increased awareness when these things happen, especially when Bronny has a heart attack and Wemby has a blood clot in his shoulder. I just don't think these things are routine. But what they do point out is that, again, no sure things. And apparently Luka getting traded has not really affected his prices in a negative way. Wemby going out for the season with a blood clot has not affected his prices, as I can see, appreciably, even though if it's serious or if it's indicative of future problems, he is a little bit of a freak. He's an outlier in terms of his skill set and size and all that. And he's a very young man. So I want the best for him. And I'm sad that it's in San Antonio. I'm even sadder that there are rumors that Luka would want to go to San Antonio to play with the ultimate lob threat, who also may want to be more of a 4 instead of a 5. I think the pounding of being like Anthony Davis, he doesn't want to play the 5. He'll play the 5 in the fourth quarter, but he'd rather just roam. And I think that's what Wemby's going to do. I always was frustrated that Luka somehow, I think Jason Kidd is a player's coach. Luka was here for 6 years, and they really were never able to, I didn't think, get big stars to come to be that complimentary place. This year they got Klay Thompson, but he's a little past his prime. If we'd gotten him 4 or 5 years ago before he got injured, I just don't think they were assembling. So I didn't know if that meant players did not want to come and play with Luka. What that would suggest, though, is if that's the case, then maybe Luka, by being no longer with the team he started with, can be opting out. He has a greater flexibility to opt out and not get the Supermax. So he could actually, instead of thinking, I want to draw people to me, he may say, I want to go to the Spurs. I want to win a bunch of championships. If Wemby comes back good as new. And you talk about Luka's defensive shortcomings. He's got a giant eraser back there. He's got the defensive player of the year for many years to come, perhaps. So these are two products that I like, that are good. Panini is in a situation in the sense that these licenses they've had, and certainly they've made a lot of money. They've done well. They've gotten some great products out there, but their licensing in its current form is coming to an end. And it's just the way it is. I hear people saying Panini doesn't care or it's a cash grab. Number one, they do care. And number two, they are a for-profit business, and bad customer service is bad business. They're not stupid. They know that. But I know when I was running my own company, if people were calling in and they had problems, we could have a whole bunch of people talking on the phone and trying to reason with them, or we could huddle up and fix the problem. And I hope that's what Panini's doing. If there's something that comes up that is a question or an issue, that they're dedicating more resources to fixing the problem than manning a phone bank to tell people, yes, we're working on it. They want to fix the problem. So those are the people that I've met over there. They have a can-do attitude. They love the hobby. They deeply care. But as in many cases, there's constraints based on what the people are working on and what they have to do. And they've got another year or so to put out some great products and do the best they can, and then see what they can do to adjust in the new licensing realities. Luka could have forced a trade if he had not signed the Supermax. I think that was somewhat in question. But Panini got the same treatment as Luka. They got the rug pulled out from under him, in that Fanatics came in and made a preemptive offer with the football and basketball licensing entities. But then Panini will probably do some other stuff and find some workarounds, maybe approach things a little bit like Leaf. The other person that's gotten criticism, which is also applicable to Panini's situation, is Nico Harrison. He was quoted and ridiculed for indicating that he had a 5-year horizon for being a general manager to do what's best for the franchise, that he saw in terms of the next 4 or 5 years and winning championships, and not 10 years. That points out, again, Panini has a 1 or 2 year horizon for these sports in these configurations with the full licensing. So they need to do the best they can while that window is open. After that, they're going to figure out what to do after that. Just like Nico, after 5 years, he may wind up leaving or getting fired, but general managers that work on a 10-year plan do not serve their term. And you can look no further than the Philadelphia 76ers. They've been doing the process for a long time, and they've talked about it more than bearing fruit. So I was just thinking, the horizon, am I thinking in terms of 5 years? No, I'm thinking in terms of longer than that, but that's my personal health and wellness. I don't think there's any shortcuts there. But as a franchise, as a player, do players think in terms of, I got to do everything this year, or am I trying to have some 5-year goals? I think the Mamba mentality, which is what Luka did not have, in Nico's opinion, is to always be getting better, always seeking the highest standard. I don't know many people who do that. To hold Luka to a Kobe standard, Kobe was exceptional, especially in that way. The Mavs and the Chiefs, to take Luka as well as Patrick Mahomes, if you're relying totally on one star, if that star goes out, is out of shape or injured or doesn't want to play, Luka could have forced a trade. Patrick Mahomes, if he said, I don't want to play in Kansas City anymore, I don't think he would say that. But if he did, you ought to finish out your contract and give your best efforts. But we've seen situations where Jimmy Butler forced a trade. And I think he wound up landing well. But it brings to mind what the Mavs are going to try to do is have several stars. I think their goal, and maybe the Cowboys too, or any other team, is that do you want to have one major star who is first team All-Pro, or do you want to have several players that are second team All-Pro or third team All-Pro? And I think the Mavs are going toward the latter. And the Lakers have two potentially all-time greats with Luka and LeBron, but LeBron is 40, and I don't know that LeBron leaves, then it's Luka's team, except that Luka, we'll see. I think what is tipped in my lifetime is that the owners used to have all the power, then the general managers had all the power, then the coaches had all the power, and it's gravitating down and down to where it's the star players have the power. Now, the non-star players don't have the power, but the star players, the big star, and apparently the tone for the Mavs was Luka. The tone for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl was, I think Patrick Mahomes didn't have a good game. Maybe their offensive line didn't have a good game, but they're used to Patrick pulling them through, and this is one time he was not able to. Thank you, Panini, for these cards. I wish you the best as you keep putting out these great products. It wasn't a tournament, which I've done sometimes, but I thought the Prism was good, but the Spectra was even better. So I think it was more expensive, but the quality of the cards, again, you can't judge by the player that you get. I got all the attributes I was supposed to get. And I did get a Caleb Williams patch card, but obviously it's not autographed. So that keeps the value from getting way up there. But I got good cards. I'm not complaining at all. And I guess I could complain. I didn't get any Cowboys. I didn't get anything for my wall, but I did get good cards that I've enjoyed. And it's hobby the way you want to. What I'm trying to draw from this is don't put all your eggs in one basket. When somebody has a very small collection, they are very susceptible to somebody having a bad game, somebody getting traded, somebody having a blood clot. And I avoid all that. Complete set collectors don't worry about that. Even team collectors. If you're a Mavs team collector, you dump all your Lukas? I don't think so. I think if there's a chapter in the history of the Mavericks, Luka is going to be a big, thick chapter that's mostly great success while he was here. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Panini. And I'll be back again. This is Monday, so I'll be back in on Wednesday. And thanks again.